Run around in the house. You make me be silly. I've played this over my mind 1,000 times until you told me action. Now it's like, so I gotta calm down because I am nervous. How I want to do it is I want to introduce the channel.
So what is the channel?
Don't ask me questions yet. I'm gonna tell you.
Questions.
I'm going to wait a minute.
You're not directing this. So what is the channel? Because I'm editing.
You
so
are.
Don't fucking worry about
You
it.
are.
So what is the channel?
Riding on the highway, winning my chips. Yeah. Birdman talking truth, say it with his chest. World going crazy, trying to hop that fence, but we break it down real, gotta make it make sense. Make it. SeTTrippin, we gon' keep it authentic. SeTTrippin, ain't no filters in it. Nah. If the world feel tense, we gon' make it make sense. That's Birdman talk, yo talk, represent.
Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Birdman, and this is the pilot episode of SeTTrippin, which has been a brainchild of mine for quite some months. This channel is a safe place for all people who enjoy motorcycle riding, from experienced riders to novice. And it's a channel that I wish to allow people to ask me questions about how to either start an MC, how to become a part of an SC, or what exactly may your role be in the set. And the set is the area for which we ride and how we interact with each other. It can be a small area with 1 or 2 motorcycle people in it, or a large area that has organized clubs dealing with local or the national entities. And I will definitely get into all of that. This channel is important to me because I have 21 years of experience of being a heavy hitter, and that's a club that I am a proud founder of. And before I was a heavy hitter, I was, like most of you, I was a person who was riding motorcycles and just enjoying the life and living in South Carolina and from North Myrtle Beach. Bike Week, of course, was a big influence on my life and why I wanted to ride. As I got involved or more involved into motorcycling, I decided with a group of guys when I moved to Florence, and we was all riding sports bikes. We decided, like most people, hey, why not we just start a club? And that's when my eyes became open to a lot of things. And I want to share all of that with you all, because I'm sure that some of you out there have the same questions or the same nervousness or jitters, and you don't know who to talk to, or you're talking to people who may be giving you answers that you can't understand or quite vibe with. And I wish to try to be that mediator to help you get that understanding that you need to make this an enjoyable experience for you. That's the point and reason for the channel. After so long of doing this, right, as they say, if you can't do certain things, then you move and you teach. So my club was founded in 2005. So we had a big biker boy influence. I think everybody did. That was a great movie to help us kind of get inspired to ride and be a club. And so we have crotch rocket street bikes, as they call them. And now this cruiser, everybody has gotten older and moved over to the cruiser style. And I can definitely get into different types if you do not know. I wish to get into different types of bikes if you do not know. I personally am a Suzuki guy. I started with a Suzuki, I didn't start. I ended my crotch rocket journey on a Suzuki 2007 1000. I started my journey on a Honda 90, which if you look it up online, you'll be surprised and say, really? Yeah, but that's how I started. 3-speed automatic Honda. And I was inspired to ride by my grandmother. She was the one who encouraged me to buy my first motorcycle on my mother's side. And I'll talk about my grandmother on my mama's side later. We started that, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the freedom of it all and everything. And it's weird because I wasn't even allowed to ride on the street. So we were doing a whole lot of riding that motorcycle on dirt roads and things like that. I first started riding on the street with my dad. My father bought me and my brothers a Kawasaki 100. It was green and white. I'll never forget it. The bike was taller than me. And he took me out into the woods and set me up or had me stand on top of a tree stump and prop the bike up against a tree stump. And I had never driven a manual anything before. And my father started walking out of the woods, and I was like, Dad, what's going on? He said, well, you want to learn to ride? He said, you got about 4 hours of daylight, get it out of here. Now, some of you may say, oh, that's so extreme. Not really growing up in my era. We kind of had to learn things the hard way. And I stood out there with that bike, and I tried everything imaginable to get it going. And it fell over, it fell on me, I fell off it. And eventually I figured out what the choke was and how to kickstart it, because I had to put one leg on the stump and one leg on the kickstart and kind of get leverage and get it going. But long story short, I got it going and got it out of there. And I've been riding motorcycles ever since. My love for it when I got to Florence, South Carolina, was a little different, because when I got to Florence, I didn't have any family here. I had no siblings, no parents, no nothing. And I came here for college. Francis Marion College was what it was at the time. I stayed there long enough for it to become a university. Don't judge. Best time of my life. And so when school was over and life began lifing, work and all the rest of that, it's like, what do? You know, you're a 20-something-year-old man, and you don't have any friends, you don't have any family. So what do? Well, you go to work. And I started working at the motorcycle shop. Woody Cycle Shop was on Pamplico Highway. RPM was there for the longest. Rest in peace to that shop. And I worked at Woody Cycle Shop with a great guy by the name of Jason Bullard. And how I met Jason, interesting story, was I had a check, an insurance check for about $4,000. And I went down to the Kawasaki shop to buy a motorcycle. And for some reason or another, they wouldn't take my $4,000 check. It wasn't their fault. I didn't know anything about credit and all the rest of that kind of stuff and had to run this and run that. But I felt like that they didn't want my money. So I literally walked from the Kawasaki shop down to the Suzuki shop and met Jason and told Jason what I was trying to do. And Jason took my money. Didn't ask me no questions, didn't ask for me to fill it out. He said, what bike do you want? And long story short, I started working there, and I met some wonderful people there, which became my family. And I met this one guy named Stanley Green, affectionately known as Double O. God bless the dead. And Double O introduced me to everybody that would later become a part of the Heavy Hitters MC. And he was our mechanic. So we did a whole lot of stuff at his house. And I will always forever be grateful for him. And he's also the one who gave me the name Birdman. And there's the story, and I'll get into that too. I don't want to ramble, and I don't want to give too much, but I do believe that you need to know about your host, which is myself, and how this all came about for me. So before we were the Heavy Hitters, we were the Long Riders, and it was Double O, and the president at the time was a guy named JP, and it was myself, Kenny Mack, and also another new rider by the name of Cowboy. His real name is Mitch, and we were the two young guys in the group. And these guys took us under their wing and showed us how to, I guess, control, ride, just basic MC stuff, right? Just learning your bike, how to check your oil, tire pressure, things of that nature, basic maintenance on the bikes and things like that. And they were the first people that I started calling family. I hung out at Double O's house every day. And of course, when I started hanging out there every day, and he was a bike mechanic, a lot of guys started coming around there. Guys like Frog, guys like Rated R, Smiley, Big D, Nick the Quick, Mike D, who else? Alfonso was the first president of Heavy Hitters, but I can't remember his bike name right at this minute, but I'll never forget him. But long story short, we started bonding and riding and things like that. Well, after time, the Long Riders disbanded. Story about that, but I'll get into that later. And when the Long Riders disbanded, we started having internal issues with each other for personal reasons. And so I felt like the club was in danger of being no more. So some of us sat down at Orangeland here on 52. At the time, it was, what was the name of that place? It'll come back to me. But we sat down there and we decided that we didn't want to not hang out. So we decided that we would start a club. And it became what it is today, which is the Heavy Hitters. And that was in 2000, Angelo's, that's what it was called, Angelo's Seafood. And that's what it was called. And the founding members of that club was myself, Alfonso, Mr. Busa, James McCoy, Kenny Mack, Double O, that's 5, and Slick, and I want to say Little Man. I want to say that those were the 7 that started the Heavy Hitters. Well, even before we could go and get our patches put on our vest, there was some people who left and they decided to go try something different even before we got started. And so some members left, and then we got some new people in the club. Reggie Dudley, Frog, as I mentioned earlier, Rated R, and the rest of us who was left. And we started riding around town as the Heavy Hitters MC. And it was a magnificent time. And we were great until we got noticed. And that's where I'm going to end the story and talk about something serious. A lot of people believe that you can just do what you want, how you want, when it comes to this bike world. And I'm not denying that. This is America. We have freedoms and all the rest of that kind of stuff. But I will say this. When you decide to start wearing leather and paraphernalia on your back, you will attract the attention of people who take this way more seriously than you ever will. And those individuals feel, based on their history and based on some of their sacrifices, that they have the right to come talk to you about entrance into their world. And I'm starting this channel because I know that I've read things on certain platforms where people say, well, nobody's going to tell me what to do or how to do or when to do, da 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 da. I respect that.
This podcast is sponsored by One Stop Cleaning LLC. Enjoy a safe, clean, and healthy home without the hassle. Their professional team delivers reliable, high-quality cleaning services tailored to your needs, so you can spend more time with family and doing what you love. One Stop Cleaning LLC, cleaning you can count on.
But please understand, as long as you're not making them look at you or making them notice you, 99.9% of the time, you won't have no issues, no problems. But I say to you, what happens when they do notice you for whatever reason? And I am talking about the outlaws, right? The ones who we grew up on being afraid of, the ones who the media has hyped up to be basically devils and gangs and all the negative things that they wish to say. I can tell you from personal experience, they're not. But I can also tell you from personal experience that they believe and they wholeheartedly will die for the freedom to ride their motorcycles as they see fit. And that's the difference between, we call you guys civilians who don't wear colors, and those of us who wear rags and are in a large group called the 99% compared to the 1%ers. It's all about your commitment to what you're doing. And I wouldn't have been in this club for 21 years now if my commitment wasn't strong and solid. And it was a journey. It took a long time to get here. And I'm still learning, right? And I wish to share what got me here for 21 years. 21 years is a long time. I'm legal in the bike world, but I'm also old enough to understand that there are people who's been doing this not as long as me, but take it way more seriously than I'll ever take it. And I have to give those people respect. And I want to help you along your journey if you decide to go that route. And as a novice, or a person who's not in a club, but maybe thinking about getting in a club, you need to also be aware of what I know to help you out if you ever are confronted for whatever reason dealing with an outlaw club. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on outlaw business because I'm not an outlaw, but I can give you as much information and knowledge as I can along the way in case you ever get there and meet an outlaw. I'll put a pin in that. At this junction, I would like to give credit and give thanks to the people who have encouraged me to sit down in this chair and even attempt to do this. And there's a bunch, but I wish to start off with some of the social media influencers that I follow, that I learn from. And I'm gonna start it off with Black Dragon. Black Dragon and I have met a couple of times at some events. Recently, the Proc was down in, where did I go? Where was the last Proc? Now that my mind is drawing a complete blank, but I was there. New Orleans, that's where I was. That's where the Proc was. And I could talk about the events, but I met Black Dragon. And Black Dragon is a great guy. He's easy to talk to. He's an OG. And he's somebody that you definitely can learn from. He's been doing this longer than me. So I'm not reinventing the wheel. I am just trying to get in there and help people locally who may not know where to go, how to look, but I'm going to give you, like I said, the people I follow. So I follow Black Dragon. I follow Sos the Ghost. He has a different perspective about the lifestyle. And both those guys are in clubs that are dominant clubs. A guy, unlike myself, who I also admire is DT Nephew. And he's always saying commit or quit. And that's why I put a pin in it, because my last words to you was commitment. You have to commit to this if you're going to do this. And he also says that riding is deciding. I'm gonna get there in terms of the miles that you put in and the bonds that you make. But DT Nephew is great. I also follow a young lady from Fayetteville. Her name is Tiffany Renee. I'm part of the Tip Squad. Tiffany doesn't really get into the political aspects of all of this and I guess the knowledge of clubs and things like that. But she is a great influencer because one, she's female, and two, she rides everywhere. And she got sponsors and all. And Tiffany gives you a lovely insight to just life as being a female riding your motorcycle, right? I'm gonna give you male point of view dealing with the culture. She gives you the, hey, get out here and ride your ride. And she's highly respected, especially by the ladies. And I will definitely have a huge section on the ladies. I also want to give thanks to Blaze. Blaze is a young lady from Wilson, North Carolina, independent. She doesn't ride, but she was brave enough to have a Facebook page to where she was talking about her experiences as a woman of color riding and going places and the interactions that she had with people. So I want to give her props, and she will be on the channel. She promised me that she would be. Foxy is somebody who's in charge of the Proc. If you don't know what the Proc is, please I'll look it up. Foxy and I met when she was a QT. And that was a club, a female club that was based out of Raleigh. That's where I always saw them. That's where they always had their events. And they were the first boss female club that I had personal interaction with. And those girls, if you know you know. Side note, the biker shuffle. Everybody knows on the biker shuffle. Heavy Hitters, my club, is in the biker shuffle, not once, but twice. And I know Big Mooch personally. He's from the Omens. And Big Mooch performed that song up there. And I had the chance to talk to him. And I was like, Mooch, could you put my club in there? Not thinking that he would, because if you listen to the biker shuffle, every club that he mentions is either national or, and national, I mean big, have chapters everywhere. One percenters, OMCs, dominants, and there's only like 2 or 3 clubs in there that are kind of small and localish. And one of them was my club. And Mooch put me in the song, well, put the club in the song. And I'm forever grateful. Yes, I know you're gonna go listen to it. We're in there 2 times. So one of the things that I'm going to encourage you is to get out there and go to some of these lovely events. If you've never been to a proc, you need to go. Great knowledge, great information out there. If you've never been to a National Bikers Roundup, you need to go, and you need to learn the history of the National Bikers Roundup. We was not always welcome at places. Don't want to bash anybody or get sued, but there was just events that we were not encouraged to attend. And the National Bikers Roundup started to take that place, to give us our own thing to go to. And it started by a great group of guys from Kansas City. And I had a chance to meet and become friends with Breezy. He's alive, kicking well, and he's the guy right now who's in charge of the Roundup. And Breezy is a part of the Zodiacs, and he started the Roundup in 1977. Let that sink in. 1977. And he allowed me for a few years to be a part of that. And the Roundup is a event that travels. It moves from state to state, place to place. So it's never in the same place twice, not often. And if you get a chance to go, go. Of course, there's Galveston, which I haven't been personally, but it's on my list to go to. Black Wall Street, which is in Oklahoma, Tulsa, I believe. History, everybody should know that. If not, please learn it. I plan to go there. My goal at some point is to be strong enough to drive my motorcycle, ride my motorcycle to Sturgis. And I just want to go, Tiffany Renee went, please take a look at that. And I just want to go and get a mason jar full of dirt, put a piece of masking tape on it, put my name on it, the date that I went and the time, and get up out of South Dakota. That is a dream of mine, aspirations and goals. Who else would I like to thank? I want to thank Chaotic Curves. If you do not know Chaotic Curves, you will hear a lot about Chaotic Curves from me. They are a local club here on the set based out of Bishopville. And they have been my strongest supporters to, hey Bird, do this. Hey Bird, do this. And Low Key and Bout It, Bougie, Baby Girl, Winnie, Savage, and Candy will probably end up on the show at some point, because I definitely plan to give homage to the ladies and their history, and who's better to tell it than a female. I would like to thank Freaky from Legendary Kings. His real name is George, so I'm gonna call him King George so that I can identify him from the rest. He was the one who was like, Bird, you got all this knowledge and you try to do all this stuff. Why don't you step into the, what is this now, the 22nd century? And get out there and share it. So I thought about it, and he would call, you gonna do it, you gonna do it, you gonna do it? I said, I don't even know where to start. I'm not great with electronics or, how to do the YouTube thing and whatnot. I said, the world has changed a lot. And he's like, don't worry about it. I got somebody for you. And there's a video on my page about this person that he was talking about. So I jumped on the video and I made a video. And the woman behind the camera, and it's a woman, is the poet. That's what I'm gonna call her. That's what we will identify her as for now, until she decides to step from behind the camera. And she's the reason why I'm here. All right, between everybody who I mentioned and George, I'm here because they believe that I have something to say. And I hope that I do. This show is not going to be scripted, right? Everybody, the poet especially, tell me to write stuff down. That's not how I do things. I am a go with my feelings, go with my head type person. So we're going to have some bumps and some bruises. There's going to be some flaws along the way. And that's great. That's what makes it authentic, right? I do have goals for the show, and I'm going to share those goals with you all. At first, we are going to have this to where that I'm going to go on the page, on the channel, and I'm going to get questions. And the poet is going to help me cycle through the questions. And depending on how long we decide to do it, we're thinking about 30 minutes at first. And I plan to pick 2 good questions and spend about 10 to 15 minutes on each question. So however many that we can squeeze in 30 minutes at first. And as we progress, I hope that we can get like a little table and I can have a computer over here and we can set up a Google call and people can start calling in. But we have to work up to that because again, this is the very first show. So we can get up to that. So I have goals for myself to give you guys a better product. And as we do this, I will get more comfortable and more relaxed and things will go a whole lot more smoother. And I'm not telling the poet that I may jot a note down here and there and look at it on the screen. But I just love this. I have passion for this, right? I don't want to say love. I want to say I have passion for this. And there's going to be people who, and I've noticed that on everything, there's going to be people who are just not going to like what I'm doing. So I'm prepared for the smoke, right? I'm prepared for the haters. But at first, if I'm reading things and I get a chance to pick and choose what I wish to address. When we go hot is what I call it, and you guys are calling in, that may not be the case. So I want to get versed at what I'm doing and comfortable with what I'm doing before I start getting naysayers and negative Nancy's. Why are you doing this? You know what you're talking about. I already know that's coming. And everybody is entitled to their opinion. But this is a place that I'm trying to keep safe, and it's a place that I'm trying to keep positive. So we're going to deal with the positive more so than the negative. But we got to deal with the negative sometime because that's just how life is, right? Also, want to thank, because I almost forgot, I want to thank Shan and Jamal. You don't know who Shan and Jamal is. Shan and Jamal are content creators on Facebook and other platforms, and they're about to have their first baby. Well, Jamal her husband, Chan's husband, made a video, which for some reason, when I was in doubt about doing this, and he came on there and his first words out of his mouth was, make the content. That's what he said, make the content. He said, doesn't matter if you're successful at it or not. He says, you may have something that somebody needs to hear, that somebody needs to say, make the content. He said, do it because you love it. Don't do it for the likes. Don't do it for the clicks. Do it because it's what you want to do and make it meaningful. And that resonated with me. So want to thank them and hopefully their baby is healthy. Long story. You can follow their life. I won't get into it. And one other person, I almost forgot. Ricky Bobby, the man that can. If you get a chance, look at his page. Ricky Bobby is a twin. And he is very inspirational for me because he's the first person I personally know, that started his own YouTube channel. And a little bit about Mr. Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby is 4'9" tall, and he rides a Harley Davidson Road Glide. Might be a Road King now, 4'9" tall. And Ricky Bobby has been told his whole life what he cannot do. And he is living the proof that as long as you have determination and the will, you can. Ricky Bobby is one of the most gifted people I have ever met. And he's kind and all the things that the world will chew you up and spit you out. And he's that guy, right? He's literally the guy that can. And I want to thank him for everything that he's done for me in the 15, 20 years that I've known him. And he's just a really great guy. So look up the guy that can, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This dude built houses, decks, pours concrete, and he's 4'9" tall. And he was riding a Hayabusa at one time. That was his bike, little fella on a Hayabusa. Again, lots of stories that I can tell. And if I can have him on the channel, which I'm sure I can, he'll come to the channel. I believe that it's everybody that I wish to thank on this particular take. And I'm just going to tell you guys, please, I need your assistance. I need your help. I need your questions. Get this to as many people who are thinking or may want to do something, join a club or a social club, start a club. Get this information to them so they can ask the questions. One thing was always told me, that there's no such thing as a stupid question. It's only a stupid answer. So when people are looking for information and we have it, we have to share it. And my job, if I can help one person with this channel, this was all worth it. It was worth the nervousness. It was worth the headache. It was worth the takes. It was worth it all because, again, a lot of people believe in me. So I believe in me. I want you to believe in me. The only way to gain your trust is to start this process and ask for your help. So I'm asking for your help. This is Birdman. Love y'all. Bye.
SeTTrippin, we gon' keep it authentic. SeTTrippin, ain't no filters in it.
Beautiful.
All because you asked the question.
And he ain't even wanted to listen. He wanted to direct the show. I'm like, you gonna do the podcast? You gonna be the director? You gonna what you
I'm not gonna do none of that.
You gonna get behind the camera
I don't
too?
know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So.
In my chest, yeah. Birdman talking truth, say it with his chest. World going crazy trying to hop that fence, but we break it down real. Gotta make it make sense. Make it. SeTTrippin, we gon' keep it authentic. SeTTrippin, ain't no filters in it. If the world feel tense, we gon' make it make sense. That's Birdman talk, yo talk, represent.